Okay,
Say, got it?
we're here. Good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle Gooch with Plaid for Women. I'm the managing director at Plaid for Women, and I am happy to be here this morning in a conversation with my friend Gail White, someone I want to introduce you to, and I'm hoping that you'll have more time with her. She is a contributor at Plaid for Women. She writes for us on a regular basis. You will enjoy reading her because she's always telling you something you don't understand. She's always explaining something new, and I always find that fascinating. But Gail tells us that she took early retirement, and it was a real gift for her because she got the opportunity to do some things differently in her life. But also she says that her heart breaks for millions of people who will never take retirement early or late, and because of a plethora of things. So her mission is that she would help women live well, find fulfillment in retirement, and leave a legacy of wealth for their children's children. Catch that, their children's children. So she addresses all facets of wealth. We think financial when we hear that, but she addresses spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, and financial. I think you call yourself, Gail, a health warrior and a wealth builder. Is that right?
That's correct.
Well, welcome. We're glad you're here.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thanks for that great introduction.
Oh, you're welcome. So we just want to know, I'm just going to ask you this very first thing, a little piece of your story that most influences you today.
It's an interesting question and hard to answer in, 500,000 words or less. But let me give it a try. If I were to go back to one point in my life that absolutely changed my life, and well, you mentioned one of them in the introduction. Retirement opened my eyes to what life is really all about, life on planet Earth. But before that, at age 30, I did something, and I've always been kind of a Bible student. I've always gone to, church. Mm-hmm. But at age 30, I did something that many people maybe have never done. I actually read the book cover to cover in 1 year, Genesis to Revelation, 1 year. I did it for all the wrong reasons. It was a challenge and there was a reward. Now you ought to do it because if you believe the book is written by God, you ought to just do it. But I wasn't mature enough. But someone said they would give me a reward. It was a whole church-wide thing. And I read cover to cover and I discovered things that I had kind of been taught all my life, but never really did taken a deep dive into it. And from then on, I'm hooked. I'm hooked on reading. I'm hooked on reading the Bible. I'm hooked on sharing wisdom with other people. Everything in my life changed at age 30 when I read it cover to cover.
Wow, that's fascinating. I wouldn't have thought about that being a real pivotal space that most people don't decide to commit. That's a pretty big commitment to something like that. Love that. So Gail, I know we call you retired, but I feel like you're one of the busiest people I know. So what is the day in the life of Gail White? What's a peek behind the scenes? What goes on in your regular day?
Let me start by saying I don't think retirement is a good moral concept. You don't ever actually retire. You just move from work to a different kind of work. And the wonderful thing about what we call retirement is you move into the work you've always wanted to do, but didn't have time to do it because you were working for someone else. So first of all, I get up early. I guess it's kind of early, but by 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock latest, I'm usually up. Always eat breakfast because that energizes me. I do some kind of devotional, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the evening, but that's always part of my day. I have a Zoom kind of training, motivational, educational thing that I get on every morning because I need motivation and inspiration and education. And I'm basically, I will say, a lazy person. I don't want to do all the research myself. In fact, I'm not gifted to do a lot of research. But I love it when these people who are energized and good researchers do the research for me. And I can just get up in the morning and click, and there I get exactly what I need for the day. So I do that. And then I get on with projects. I have about 5 that I work just for fun, for the love of it. Of course, the plaid and the writing, and I work with Christian Women's Job Corps, which helps women get a fresh start in the job market. I think that is just like huge. I have a small group at church that I really like. We're doing a great book that we're reviewing this quarter. And then, of course, there's my husband and my friends and my family. And you put it all together, and, 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, my head is hitting the pillow. And usually I'm just feeling pretty good about my day.
That's awesome. We imagine retirement. Some people imagine their retirement as a great space where they travel and they have all the things, but other people imagine it as sitting in the recliner with the TV on all day. Which you're right when you talk about that's not morally. That's not really what we're called to, right?
My word, I'm not saying people who retire another way are immoral, please.
No, but I mean, we have a bigger calling, a bigger mission.
Yeah. Well put, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So who is one of your female heroes, a person who has inspired you?
That's a hard question because I could name, 100.
Mm-hmm.
But as I really think through, one comes to mind, and Harriet Tubman. Absolutely, when you think of the concept of being physically enslaved, getting yourself free, and putting yourself back in harm's way in order to try to show as many people as you can the way to freedom. I can't think of any bigger calling that any person, male, female, or otherwise, could have. And I can't think of any other sacrifice. I wonder if I could do that. If I found myself finally out of the brutality of that system in a safe place, would I have the courage to pack my bag, go back, run the risk of, being killed or brutalized or enslaved again in order to help someone else? I think she's got to be my hero.
Yes. Wow. What a picture of someone that understood her moral responsibility. Wow, she sacrificed it. She is fascinating. If anybody who's listening hasn't done a deep dive into her life, reading whatever you can find on her or watching any documentaries that have been done on her, she's an amazing individual. So yes, she's inspiring for sure. Mm-hmm. Inspiring. So we're in front of a group of women that are busy, just like you and I. They keep their lives full with professional work, volunteer work, families, all the things, you name it, it's happening in their world. So what tips would you give a busy woman today?
Okay, I actually Googled one time, tips for a busy woman. And just wanted to see what's out there because, we are all influenced by what we read and see. And I want to start here. I want to change the word. I'm kind of a word person in a lot of ways. I don't like the word busy. Okay. Let's call ourselves, and I wanted to say active, but that has a kind of connotation of active adults, like, you're 90 years old and can still walk without a walker. So I don't want to call it active. How about engaged? And I like that because it gives, within that definition, it kind of aligns itself with my idea of retirement. Let's keep engaged all the time. So women who are engaged in whatever it is, raising your children, working, anything that would be, like volunteer work or whatever it is, whatever you're engaged in. And as I look around at what helped me get through, one thing came to mind, and that is sort of, and it's kind of a Girl Scout thing, be prepared, but anticipate what could happen to disrupt the process and have 3 or 4 plans, sort of in your back pocket. I had a friend who was so good at this. She had 5 girls and they were all so busy. She was busy, the girls were busy. And I was always amazed at how she would set up a plan in advance for something that hadn't even happened yet that could disrupt her day. And she would have 3 or 4 people who could take each girl to school if something were to happen. She would have, she just had a plan in case the first plan didn't work. And boy, is it ever helpful, as I learned from her. She was so good. As my best friend, she organized me. So if you can't do it yourself, get you a good friend who can do it for you, but always have that plan. Always have something in your hip pocket that says, if this is very important, I've got to do everything I have to do today, but if something happens, I have another person waiting in the wings who's already kind of agreed she can step in and help. You got to have a community. You can't raise your kids by yourself. You can't do anything by yourself. And so I would say anticipate and have a plan.
So that idea, I'm thinking, would bring a great deal of peace instead of chaos. Just this idea of we have a backup, we have someplace else to go, or even training our brains to say, okay, I thought it was going to go like this, it didn't, but there's got to be 3 other options. Let me find them.
Absolutely.
Instead of, wow, the sky is falling.
The sky is falling. It's peace instead of panic. How's that?
Yeah.
We just, and worst case scenario, trust that life is going to work it out. It may look like it's all falling apart right now, but nobody's going to die. It's all right.
Right. That is a great way to just retrain, because we do, once our brain goes to panic, then we can't access the creative, innovative side of it anymore. And that really limits us.
Or even the rational side of it that says,
right,
I'm okay.
Right. Yes, that's so good. Really great tip. Thanks. So Gail is going to be leading an online conversation for us at the end of February the 26th, 23rd. Don't let me get the date wrong. February the 23rd. And we've been doing these, those of you who have followed Plaid for a while, we've been doing these periodically, online conversations, and they have been really great. So tell us a little bit, Gail, about what your topic is going to be.
Okay. There's so much to money and what's going on right now. But I want to talk about the need for, in my career, the last thing I did was training. And I've always loved teaching, training, adult education. And so the term that I'm using is financial literacy. The problem, and I'll be working with a mentor of mine who has a school of financial literacy. Most of us are just not literate. We were never, ever taught what money is all about, what finances is all about. And so today, as it's moving faster and faster and faster, we have a lot of catching up to do. It's like jumping on a moving treadmill. And so I want to talk about money is changing. And there's this new thing that I have termed, not my original term, but I picked it up from somebody who's a real expert, the digital investment craze. There's new stuff out there and you can't ignore it. It's either going to run you over or you're going to jump on the train and make it work for you. And so that's what we want to talk about. Financial literacy in 2022. What does it mean? What is this digital investment craze that's going on out there? And how do smart families, smart women make it work for them?
Wow, that's going to be good. That's definitely something we all need. One of the things that I did 2 years ago when COVID began and we all were taken off balance by it was just I kind of decided, oh, I might need to get a little more education in financial related things. And then the more education I got, the more I read, the more I worked at that, the more I realized how financially illiterate I was. I turned around to my adult sons and said, if I'm financially illiterate, so are you, because I'm the one that taught you. So we better get educated. So that's going to be great.
It's generational, and you can't afford that.
Yeah. So who would you say needs to hear this? Who needs to be present at this online conversation?
Well, the simple answer is everyone, but everybody says that this will change your life. So let me not go there, but here's who needs it. There are people who they're not a part of a group that's helping them achieve this literacy that they need. Mm-hmm. You cannot do it alone. Mm-hmm. You've never been able to do it alone, but especially now. Mm-hmm. Someone said to me, in one of the videos that I was watching, that it's changing at the speed of thought. That, it used to be, we had expressions like, the speed of sound, the speed of light, the speed of thought. Someone sits up at night and thinks of another way we can earn money, and tomorrow it's out there and people are doing it. The speed of thought. You cannot keep up with it. You need a group. So the people who are not in a group, the people who don't have anyone that they're kind of following and don't know where to begin, need this. Then there are people who are, kind of a little bit savvy. They've already joined a group. They're already working things. I find it really helpful to compare notes. My group has found this and seen this. What about this group over here? Wow. And so really, Michelle, for people who are following you, who are following Plaid, who are following, the philosophies that we put out, I think they definitely, even if they are in a group, need to sort of peek in to see what's happening in our classroom. Mm-hmm. And so those are the two groups that I would invite, and I think we'll definitely get something out of the webinar.
Love that. That's really good. Well, I started this by introducing Gail as someone who she's a contributor at Plaid. She's always writing about things I don't know or don't understand. And so I'm always reading, and she puts it in such clear terms that I have aha moments. Every time I read her article, I send her a note saying, oh, this is so good. I'm so glad to understand this. So we welcome you to come join us February the 23rd at noon. We'll get you more information about it, but it'll be a conversation that you'll want to hear, and you will have moments of new understanding for sure. Gail, thank you. It's been fun to be with you. Thank you for giving us a glimpse into your world.
Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate you and all that you do.
Oh, you're welcome. Bye, everyone. We'll see you February 23rd.